If TV is generally not as good as movies, and games based on movies are generally terrible, what does that tell you about games based on TV?
Whoa!
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 worst games based off TV shows.
I rang the alarms, calling in the abomination.
Since there are so many horrible rush jobs out there, we decided to rule out smartphone and handheld games, since a lot of those titles were clearly released on brand name only, and even talking about them would be incredibly boring.
Assuming all of my residents are on top of their game.
We also ruled out game shows, since most of these are quiz-based and need to pull off a minimal amount of gameplay to succeed, although reality TV is fair game.
Man, this job is getting too dangerous.
Number 10, The Simpsons Wrestling. Never shy of dipping into various video game genres, this title sees our Springfieldians pitted against each other in a wrestling ring.
I'm the bee's knees, if you please.
The prospect of laying the smackdown on Flanders is certainly appealing, but the positives stop with the concept alone. Horrifying graphics and terrible collision detection combined with the incredibly limited moveset make this an insulting button masher not worthy of the beloved cartoon series. Number 9, Grey's Anatomy, the video game.
But I can't deal with him growing up without a mother. I need you to make an effort.
Who on earth thought that a medical drama show would work as a video game? Do these demographics even intersect at all?
I don't think you're ready, Dr. Gray.
Regardless, what we got was a jumbled mess of minigames and cutscenes that occasionally resembled a video game. Focusing on a new story centered around an outbreak at Seattle Grace, the game does achieve the feel of a Grey's episode.
Nice and lewd, Alex.
Yet, the bizarre cutscenes determined wholly by unrelated minigames seriously detract from the Trauma Center style gameplay. And considering that's the closest thing you get to actual gameplay, that's saying a lot. Number 8, Game of Thrones.
I've betrayed. I've murdered. I've lost everything.
Boasting a story worthy of George R.R. Martin's fantasy epic, this RPG exists as a parallel to the events unfolding on the small screen, and it even links up with iconic characters from the series.
There is no middle ground.
Unfortunately, that's where the parallels end. Essentially, everything else is poorly executed.
I understand your pain.
The character models and sloppy animation sorely let down what truly was an innovative plot. The gameplay is also boring and repetitive, leaving die-hard fans and casual gamers alike feeling let down by a title that promised so much and delivered so little. Number 7, Lost, Via Domus.
Via Domus. That's Latin. Means the way home.
With the show itself being such a lightning rod for polarizing opinions, it was always likely that a video game adaptation would be similarly divisive.
Question is, what kind of man are you?
Its plot will make little sense to anyone but die-hard Lost fans, and the gameplay is not nearly immersive enough to appeal to a wider audience. Get this, there's a gun that you can use in the game, but you only ever shoot 3 bullets the whole time. And if you think the iconic characters can save this mess, you're up for disappointment.
I'm just trying to keep up with you, sweetheart.
Any authenticity is completely lost in the terrible impressions made by the stand-in voice actors.
They like to go trotting off into the jungle to play superheroes.
Number 6, American Idol.
I thought you were astounding. What a wonderful voice.
It perhaps might not be a surprise that a singing game that isn't actually based on your ability to hit the right notes wasn't successful, but apparently somebody thought that it would be a good idea.
So here I am.
We were instead given a rhythm-based title that looks rushed to market. The graphics make the judges look hideous, and the lack of direction makes the whole show look boring.
Oh my gosh.
This was a shameless cash-in on the immense popularity of the show, and it resembles a humiliating audition more than anything else.
The guys can't decide, so,
Number 5, Home Improvement, Power Tool Pursuit. This is one of the most bizarre games on this list, if not in the history of games. For those of you who missed it in the 90s, Home Improvement was about a family man who hosted a home repair show. It certainly did not feature dinosaurs, or ancient temples, or ghosts, or giant spiders. In fact, almost all of the endearing elements of the show were completely abandoned in this utterly random 2D platformer that was surely never right for a video game adaptation. To sum this up in Tim the Toolman Taylor's own words, Number 4, Doctor Who, Return to Earth.
A 4? I'd hate to be on board during a 1.
Shall we hop into the TARDIS and go back in time where this game was never invented? That would probably be for the best.
Sounds like we need to take a closer look.
You read my mind.
Even for a title on the Nintendo Wii, the graphics are laughable and the gameplay concept even worse. The controls were clunky, progress was slow and annoying, and the game even breaks the show's lore by giving Amy a sonic screwdriver.
Ha! Sorted!
Despite Matt Smith and Karen Gillian reprising their roles, even they can't save this unholy mess. It wasn't released in North America, and believe me, that's a blessing.
Destroy the Doctor.
Number 3, The Walking Dead, Survival Instinct. No, not the fantastic point-and-click adventure by Telltale, but rather the poorly rushed first-person shooter. You do get to play as badass redneck Daryl, voiced by Norman Reedus, complete with his cool-ass crossbow. But the Walker AI is so absurdly stupid, even for zombies, as they seem to care more about attacking chain-link fences and can be avoided entirely by standing on a car, jumping over a barricade, or simply sprinting by them. Melee combat isn't any better, as the zombies go down without any effort. But fear not, because this game is mercifully short.
Quit your belly aching, you're giving me a headache, son.
Number 2, Pimp My Ride.
I don't even know where to start with this one.
What could have maybe been a cool racer with endless opportunities for customization, somewhere along the line was turned into a car crash of different genres where boring free roaming and mini-games attempt to create a Frankenstein monster that in some form represents MTV's hit show.
Marcia, all I can say is I hope this thing runs well enough to drive to the hospital.
The ghostwriting segments are as ludicrous as they are boring, and the actual pimping mechanics are nothing more than dull button prompts. And that leaves Exhibit's admittedly decent voiceover as the only saving grace for a game based in Pimp City.
You have a long career here in Pimp City.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable, or in this case, dishonorable mentions.
They're all dead, sir. What's going on here?
It's the ship's original crew. They must have been killed when the ship was taken over.
Number 1, Superman 64. What else could have topped this list than a game that made our worst games of all time list? Based on the series Superman: The New Adventures, the level design is minimalist to say the least. The graphics are a little more than blocks of color, and the game's challenges are monotonous.
Then there's no time to waste.
Said challenges mostly involve guiding Supes through floating rings that criminal mastermind Lex Luthor has set out as a challenge because? But the real challenge here is dealing with the innumerable, often hilarious, game-breaking bugs. Do you agree with our list?
I have second thoughts about this one.
With so many video game tie-ins making a mess of their source material, we're bound to have missed something.
That girl, you officially been pimped.
For more top 10s published daily, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
I whipped you and made you scream.